All right, guys, today we're going to be talking about Fischl and why she is so nasty. Most notably, one of my favorite characters to pair her with, which is Big Chongus. Chong! Now, yesterday in our Kaching video, we talked badly about Chong. You see, Chong has an E ability where he applies that cryo effect, that AoE damage effect, and he converts all damage from swords, polearms, and claymores in that vicinity into cryo damage. Which means if you're rocking something like Kaching, who uses a sword, and you're proccing Superconduct, you're not actually taking advantage of it because you're not doing physical damage. But what about Fischl? She doesn't rock a sword. No, she rocks a bow, which means she can still proc Superconduct very easily with her own E ability, constantly proccing Superconduct for herself, and simultaneously taking advantage of that 50% debuff there in physical damage. So let's walk you through what we're rocking here on Fischl. By the way, guys, I know there's a lot of 5-star champs and everybody's just like really wanting just the 5-star champs, right? By simping for Diluc. I love Kaching, but look, these 4 stars are incredibly nasty if you spec them out right. I mean, incredibly nasty. You've got Fischl here. She's got a normal attack, and you can also aim down sights to apply Electro, although I actually just fire pretty much from the hip, right? I know some Destiny lingo in here, but just your normal attack is what I use with her. Again, speed is our friend here on Fischl. Her E ability allows her to spawn a Raven, which applies electro damage to your enemies, and that little bird just goes in on everyone. Her ult ability, though, actually allows you to convert yourself into a giant Raven, allowing you to deal a hell of a lot of electro damage. And if you got a maxed out constellation, it's really, really nice. You get things like health back when you do this. I know I got lucky here by having this maxed out constellation, but considering that the Venti banner has such a high drop rate for her, I don't think it's that hard getting Fischl, or at least getting a few of these in this constellation unlocked. Now let's talk about what we're rocking here artifact wise. I do have a gladiator set, just the 2-piece, and the berserker set, the 2-piece, one increasing my attack percentage by 18%. The other one increases my crit rate by 12%. Very, very important that I've got crit rate up here. I do have an instructor's cap here, which does increase the crit rate even more, 23.2%, and crit damage 4.4%. Obviously, this could be a little bit better, but for the most part, I'm completely satisfied with these artifacts, which actually takes us to the detailed breakdown of her damage. Now, her damage and attack looks good. It could definitely be better, but remember, her attack rate of fire, it's just so fast, and it's a range attack, so you can almost just sit back out of harm's way. You can pick up enemies that are trying to get away from you or that are in the air. So a lot of benefits to Fischl and just bow users in general. She also has a crit rate here with this build of almost 50%, with a crit damage of almost 70%. Again, this can be spec'd even higher had I had some better artifacts, but this isn't too shabby. And I mean, you see the damage right here. It's disgusting. Now let me walk you through what we're doing. We do a lot of testing here. These are essentially my new Gregs for Genshin Impact, which is this Pyro Regisvine, I hope I'm saying that right, Regisvine, and the Cryo Regisvine. Both are fantastic for testing damage numbers on, because we wanted to make sure that bows will take advantage of Superconduct, granting us that 50% debuff, and of course avoid Chong's E ability. Chong's E ability is fantastic because you do the AoE effect, it applies the immediate cryo damage, but anything else that steps into this radius, if I hit them with either Chong's sword or someone else's sword, it immediately applies that cryo damage. And as you notice there, my Raven being out with our E ability on Fischl is constantly applying electro damage. So Superconduct will continuously keep proccing, and the more enemies you proc with Superconduct, the better. You're spreading that debuff out even more. But let's talk about its single target damage. This is when things got really interesting. First up, these are the clips of taking down the Pyro and the Cryo Regisvines without Superconduct procced. This is how much of a difference it actually makes. Now, the Cryo probably doesn't look like it makes that big of a difference, which I was actually getting some strange numbers, but the Pyro, you can definitely tell the difference in. We saw a range on the Pyro of 489 at the lowest end, all the way up to a max of 1092 without Superconduct. And again, Superconduct is a debuff for 90 seconds, and it doesn't matter whether or not you apply Electro first and then Cryo, or Cryo first and Electro. I would just spam them both at your own convenience. Now, when we actually apply Superconduct. And what I actually like to do is just like put my Raven out first, start doing Electro, and then do the cryo attack there with Chong. Now Chong's ability actually does a pretty big chunk of damage and it comes back extremely fast. But these damage numbers, you see how much it increases it. I mean, that 50% debuff is not to be overlooked. Up against cryo, we see at the low end still 682, but at the high end cranking up to 1,888, which definitely signifies that Superconduct is at work. And on our Pyro Regisvine, we saw a range of damage from 734 to 1,638. Again, this is a pickup of 50% there in damage, thus showcasing how good Superconduct actually is. But where Keqing and Kaya's Superconduct was also really good for single target damage, it didn't quite have the ease of use, right? You had to proc Electro first, then you had to kind of wait for the tail end of your Electro abilities, because Keqing there for a second will keep applying Electro damage over and over again, and then swap to Kaya, get the cryo attack off to apply Superconduct, and then swap back to Keqing. There's a lot of timing issues. What this combo offers is ease of use, but equally as deadly, if not more. I don't know. Actually, when I sit down and actually look at the damage from Keqing in comparison to Fischl here, Fischl seems to be on par, maybe better. I mean, I don't know. This is really tough. And it might be her weapon. I mean, we've got a decent weapon here. It's not the best. It's Rust. It is refined once. It actually increases our normal attack damage by 50%. So this is taking advantage of this, right? Us just sitting here spamming shots over and over again. But I mean, I had some nasty weapons on Keqing yesterday, the Black Sword. So the fact that this little old 4-star champ combined with 4-star Chongus that everybody's kind of like hating on right now because Chong has an E ability that can screw you if you rock swords, polearm, or claymores, which is like all of us. It's apparent to me, though, that Fischl and Chong were made for each other here. Now, as far as what to use on the rest of the team, you know, originally I thought I was going to have to rock 2 Pyros to get that increase of 25% damage, which I did take advantage of a few times, but it's really not necessary. That's just how much damage Fischl actually does. So I would actually suggest just kind of like making your team well-rounded. Take advantage of elemental effects, dropouts like Xiling, which I really like, and her bear, applying some pyro to go along. Fischl's electro damage really does some massive AoE damage, and then follow up with Chong's E attack to apply that Superconduct. So guys, try out Fischl, a fantastic character. Again, the Venti banner is your friend. Going on right now is a 50% drop rate increase for these 4-star champs, Xiling, Barbara, and Fischl. I know everybody wants Venti, man. Don't get me wrong, I like Venti, but maxed out Barbara and her constellation, Xiling, and Fischl can carry you in this game. So I don't know where you're burning your wishes at, and burn them wherever you want to burn them, I guess. I would just recommend, at least initially, especially for new players, to burn their wishes in the Venti banner. Fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching, and as always,
slap that like button like your mama told you right.